Is there a chance that Bitcoin will plummet for a couple of minutes as much as $2,000 or $3,000 within minutes before retracing back up and then going on to breaking previous all-time highs within 2 months? I think so. The reason why I think this is possible is I currently think that we are replicating similarly the 2013 bull market. Now, when 2013 was around, we made a top of $260 plus or minus. We then came and bottomed at $60 range. Now, before a Bitcoin parabola usually happens, from history, it is not uncommon to have a bear trap or a plunge in the price of the asset before it goes on to make new all-time highs. Because I believe $100,000 per Bitcoin in US dollars is going to happen before year end, the price rise after the bear trap has to have time to happen. It cannot happen just in 1 month or a week. You need several weeks to several months. And since we are almost into September, that gives my prediction: September, October, November, and December. 4 months to get this right. Now, I might be wrong, but I think $100,000 will happen this year. And whatever happens after that, I'm not sure. But what I am thinking is that $100,000 is going to happen this year. For that to happen, we can compare what happened in the RSI, the Relative Strength Index of Bitcoin, and even the MACD, but the RSI is more important for now. And if we see the flattish or the stagnant price action and volume that was in this period, which looks very similar to is what's happening right now. Yes, there are volume spikes because it's a more mature market and you have more volume, but overall, there hasn't been as much volume as, for example, here, when we went to 13.8. I didn't call that top, but if you look at the Fear and Greed Index, the Fear and Greed Index, it did hit 95, which was a sign of extreme fear. As you can see right there. On the day that it topped, pretty much, it hit 95. Now, even this website mentions that whenever you have an extreme greed index in the market, it could mean that the market is due for a correction. Not always, but it is possible. Okay, so because I think that we're going to 100k, we need, or the market needs, to flush out weak hands. It needs to basically scare the weak hands out of the market, which are just looking for quick gains, or are not comfortable with the volatility that Bitcoin brings to the market. So, this is what I think is going to happen. With this bars pattern that I've done via this tool over here, That's what I think is possible. Not certain, but possible. Now, for this bear trap, I think that it needs to happen relatively soon because it will give us time to retrace back up and consolidate within this range again before we start to go parabolic again. Now, with all these geopolitical events that are happening with China and the US, it is pretty much a no-brainer to have some Bitcoin. You don't have to have a full Bitcoin. You can have 0.001 equals like $100. You can have as little as that. But owning silver and gold is pretty much mandatory. It's mandatory, pretty much. So this is what I think is going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, so be it. But I am prepared because I have already layered bids all the way down to around this range. So layered bids at 9K, 8K, 7, 6, 5. And 6 is important because $6,000 wasn't broken with conviction for the whole of 2018. It just didn't break. As you can see with that red line, when we broke, then it pretty much ended the bear market, which I failed to call. And, well, there you have it. So that's what I think is going to happen. And if it does happen, then it is likely that this could coincide with the stock market plunge that is much due for a correction. So that's what I think is going to happen. And once we break this support, I think that it will be very unlikely to hold it without serious buying pressure. And if we did have a flush or a massive bear trap that could flush the price down, now I don't have a date for this because it could happen within the next month. I have no idea when it could happen. But I am prepared because I have prepared my bids or buy orders to certain levels. If some person does panic sell, I will be ready to pick up that sell order and I'll be ready to buy off them. So if it does happen, it happens. So still holding Bitcoin in case it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, do not expect for it to stay down here for very long. I expect if it does happen, to happen within maybe the next couple of weeks. I have no idea though. No idea. I've just prepared bids, and if one night you wake up and it's plunged, you can at least know that, hey, I bought some Bitcoin at these levels when it flash crashed. So that's just my opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but this would make sense before a parabola. You would have a decent correction and then be quickly bought up by a big volume and be followed by a parabola. And therefore, the people that were panic selling here would need to obviously probably buy at higher levels out of FOMO or fear of missing out, and therefore miss out on a great buying opportunity. Now, the probability of this happening, I think, is more than 50%. More than 50%. But it's not certain. Nothing's certain in life. But at least you can be prepared if it does happen. So that's what I think. And it's definitely possible for us to hit $7,000, even $6,000. But do not expect to see these levels for very long. It's likely that you might see a flash crash, couple minutes, dropping thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars drops, and then within a couple of minutes, it quickly retraces back up, retrace, and then we consolidate, and then we buy, and then not we, but the masses start to buy, and therefore leads to a greater bull run. So this is the chart that might happen. That is possible historically, 2013. And you can see the RSI was in about the middle, a bit higher than the middle, and then all of a sudden just dropped, came back up, and then started on its parabola. So you can see here on the daily chart, we're not quite in the middle, but it's possible, definitely possible for us to dip in the oversold region, and then come back up and retest and go higher in the price. So personally, I think that we are probably going to see new all-time highs within the next couple of months. Earliest I think it could happen is maybe somewhere in October, but don't quote me on that one. So if we do, it's possible that we might do exactly what we did in 2013, except go 10 times the amount that we went previously, and like more like this. So that's my opinion, and I've prepared myself. And if you look at my previous video, I said, oh, don't miss out, it's your last chance to buy. Well, you know, if you bought then, you probably bought around 95. So if you want, you can sell now. Comment of any questions you may have, but be ready for a plunge and buy the fear. Have a great day and peace.